we've got somebody that's been on the show. This is his second appearance, and we're thrilled to be welcoming him back again. You're going to see in a minute how this fits together so well with View Bistro. Gregory Asplund from Desert Cider House. Greg, welcome back to the show, buddy.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm serious. We're thrilled to have you back on again.
I'm thrilled to be here.
And it was great when I found out that you and Heidi had talked and that she was gonna, you said you wanted to be part of this.
Absolutely.
She's looking for Arizona products. You have an Arizona product. In fact, we're going to be talking more about that, and you're going to be talking with Heidi about that in another segment.
Yep.
But tell us again about Greg and about Kristen, your wife, and your kids.
So
Drake and Zoe, right?
That's right. My wife Kristen and my daughter Zoe and son Drake. We all live out here in Gilbert. We do business. Our business is actually located in Chandler, but we moved out here, my wife and I, in 2005, the very end of 2005. And obviously not with our small children, but they were born here in Arizona. And we actually started our business back in 2016. We started it in the summer. Had to get built out and everything. We got our liquor license in the fall of that year and started selling in 2017. So we're the oldest cidery in the Phoenix area.
But for folks that didn't hear you on the show the first time you were on, there's a history that goes into how you got into starting a business.
Right. My wife and I, we used to go out a lot. We'd go to restaurants, local restaurants and bars, and we could never find any local hard ciders around. Nobody carried them. There didn't seem to be any producers of it. And we thought it was really weird. You could only get national brands, and we kind of felt like national brands were a little bit too sweet or, just a little too generic. And we started talking about it. I was like, how hard can it be to make cider? So that Christmas, she bought me a kit to start making cider at home. So I started messing around with it, making some ciders. We'd play poker and have friends come over, and they drink my cider and say, this is great, you should try and sell it. And we thought, well, how hard can that be? So sure, we started thinking, hey, wouldn't it be neat if we could go to the bar down the street, or if we went out with our friends and there was a place that actually sold the cider that we made.
Yes, but you had to deal with several levels of government to actually pull off.
Yeah, I mean, it was sort of like any small business owner. If you knew what you were getting into, you maybe wouldn't do it all over again. But we had to get a liquor license from the state of Arizona. We had to get a liquor use permit from the city of Chandler. We had to then go and get approval from the feds to have a liquor production license from them, a permit. And then, of course, you have to get approvals from the TTB, Tax and Trade Bureau, and they have to approve everything you're making and your formulas and everything else. So there's a lot of bureaucracy to get from hey, let's do that.
So actually, you started this back in 1905.
Right, about. It felt that way, yeah. And then, of course, the feds were so backed up that it took 8 months for them to actually process the paperwork and all. So it was a lot of sitting around and hoping that they got it done.
Okay, so you finally got through all of those levels of bureaucracy. And see, I caught myself. I did. And so you got through all of that. And then, is that when you opened up your facility that you're currently at?
So, yeah, I mean, in order to get most of that stuff, you have to have a location already. You have to be able to provide them a site plan and map, and then you have to get approval from, like, Chandler. They want to see that you're not, a certain distance from schools and churches and things like that. So we had our facility, like I say, in July, and we couldn't sell for 8 months from that point because we had to go through so much stuff for it. But
okay, so this isn't like Apple computers where you were able to start it off in a garage.
No. We didn't want to do that. We knew we needed a bigger space for it, and we wanted to do it legit and really have, a legitimate business, not out of our garage or anything. And that's also why we went with a distributor instead of distributing it ourselves. We really felt like that was a better methodology. They already had a lot of relationships with bars and restaurants, and they had a lot of salespeople who could help promote us out in there. And then they also have a much broader distribution from what we could do. I mean, we would have just been in our town and nearby, but they actually distribute all over the state. So we get a much larger.
Yeah, you're actually on tap in Flagstaff, aren't you?
Yeah, down in Tucson as well, and all over the state.
That's very cool. You guys have got to be thrilled about that.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and it's nice to have that bit of the business taken care of by people who are really competent at it as well.
So we're going to be going deeper into your ciders and what your plans are for the future in pursuing others. But tell us a little bit about Desert Dragon and then Desert Zephyr.
Okay. So Desert Dragon was our first cider, our signature cider. That one's a straight apple hard cider that we ferment with brown sugar, and we finish it with brown sugar. That's kind of rare out there. A lot of home cider makers will use brown sugar, but the TTB was not really keen on letting us use that, and so there was a lot of back and forth to get approval on it. So we're one of the few people making cider with brown sugar. That's our signature cider, and we call it Desert Dragon, but it's sort of a play also off our son's name, which is Drake, which is sort of an archaic term for dragon. And so we kind of get an underhand nod to our kid by naming it Desert Dragon.
The cider that was named for a son.
Right.
Tell us about Desert Zephyr.
So Desert Zephyr was our second cider that we planned and manufactured for year-round distribution. That one is a prickly pear orange flavored cider. It's an apple hard cider blended with prickly pear juice out of Tucson. And that one is Zephyr is a term for a gentle desert breeze. But we named it that because our daughter's name is Zoe, and we couldn't think of any other Z name that made sense.
Oh yeah, and you couldn't actually dare not tag one for your daughter after you tagged one for your son.
Exactly. So we call that one Desert Zephyr hard cider softer side. It's a little bit lighter on the palate, a little bit cleaner finish.
It is a nice taste.
Yeah, and so we kind of felt that evoked our daughter too, sort of the gentle, brightness that was her. We've named some other ciders that we've done as kind of individual batches for other, family members, but we haven't made them for general distribution just yet. So.
But you have a cranberry pomegranate, right?
We also, right now our newest one we just released is called Cranberry Pomegranate. That is an apple hard cider that's blended with cranberry juice and pomegranate juice. That's it.
Well, that would explain that.
Yeah, it's a real clean taste, and we just really think it's a great complement to apple flavor.
What's the name of that one?
Cran Pom. We just gave up on doing the naming for that. We also manufacture.
Well, either that or you had to have more kids.
Right, exactly. We also have a peach cider that we have out right now. We just recently started releasing that again. We had it out last year, but we've decided to go year-round with that one. And that one is blended with peaches, actually a peach puree that we got from Schnepp Farm, locally sourced peaches. That one we're now doing year-round as well. And that one we call DCH Peach. Sort of the new ciders just sort of speak for themselves as what they are. They don't need any explanation.
Excellent. So once again, announce your company.
Desert Cider House.
And your address?
We are out of Chandler, Arizona. We don't have a tasting room. You'll find out a little bit more about that a little bit later.
Okay.
But you can find us on tap at bars and restaurants all over the state.
Website?
DesertCiderHouse.com.
And what social media are you on?
You can find us on Instagram on Desert Cider, and you can find us on Facebook at Desert Cider House.
Okay.
Those are the main places where we broadcast what our new ciders are and where they're going to be.
Okay, well, you've been getting shared on LinkedIn and Twitter as well.
Awesome.
And Pinterest. So you might want to, look
Expand
into those
that.
two just to, engage people.
Absolutely.
Because, you got good stuff, and you got a great business here. We'll talk more about what the expansion plans are in a bit.
Awesome.
Once again, Greg Asplin, Desert Cider House in Chandler. And on Facebook, it's
Desert Cider House.
on Instagram.
It's Desert Cider.
Okay. It's not hard to remember, folks. Greg Asplin, Desert Cider House. Greg, thank you.
Thank you.